whole notion of internet blood sports, because I'm trying to understand. All of a sudden, the fucking thing took off. I mean, it just suddenly exploded, right?
Yeah.
And I'm interested as to your take as to why you think it suddenly just clicked all of a sudden. Because, okay, streaming had been around on YouTube for a while. Arguments and stuff had been around YouTube for a while. A super chat is not a new invention, but why is it all of a sudden in the last 2-3 months it just exploded? Do you have any thoughts on that?
Yeah, it's because of the innovation that's been put forward through the internet blood sports. So Andy Worski, Tonka Saw, they're amazing dudes. They are innovative as hell, JF. And that's really what it's about. It's about, yes, of course, debates have been around forever. And these formats have been around forever. But it's the innovation. And then I took, ideas from them and did my own spin on it. And then people continue to do that. So to me, it's that, you would never see Tariq Nasheed debate Jared Taylor on race realism. Are you going to see that on CNN? No, you're not. You're never going to see that. So it was this creative way of our different shows, how we thought up these dream scenarios. I was thinking like celebrity deathmatch. I'm like, who would I love, to see just go head to head, like something that the mainstream TV would never do. Even, Young Turks or like even these other YouTube channels would never do. And so we sort of became like the alt tech is like doing their own thing. We sort of became like alt Hollywood in a way. Like it was like really entertaining stuff, but for like an alternative audience that like mainstream wouldn't really do. And that's why I believe it became wildly popular. People, we have numbers. I mean, people watch so much stuff on YouTube, so much alternative content on YouTube, mainstream news and all that. All the shows have been dying for a long time, and people want to see other stuff. So, Worski Live, Kumite, Baked Alaska Show, we started just bringing quality content and just thinking up basically our dream matches of who we would like to see have conversations with each other. And, some of them ended up really well. Some were shit shows or, but they've been, it's almost like a reality show as well, because there's also all these things happening in real time. Like the Kilroy thing was actually a big thing that boosted me. Funny enough, I was the first person to get banned or uninvited from Kilroy.
Oh yeah, what a shit show with that thing. Yeah.
And it just turned into a whole shit show. So people started having me on, and so that sort of boosted me going into these blood sports. But what people need to understand, and I mean, I don't think they'll ever learn. I don't know why they censor me so much, but the more they censor me, the more they ban me, I just get more famous. My message. Yeah. My message gets bigger. So thank you. Thank you to the haters. Thank you to the SPLC and the ADL, because every time I get banned, I always come back bigger. Every time. It's a constant trend. So I appreciate it. I mean, when it's just human nature. When you tell someone you can't, don't eat the forbidden fruit, all of a sudden you want to do it because it's like naughty. But then you listen to me and you realize, oh, he's like just a normal, funny dude. He's not like some crazy person like they tried to paint me as. But yeah, I mean, it's definitely an interesting life. It's interesting looking at all the different news articles that they write about me, all the hit pieces. It's so constant. I just don't even pay attention to them anymore. I don't care. People are like, oh my gosh, did you see what they said?
You guys don't seem to understand the Streisand effect. I mean, just fucking ignore it. If you don't like it, just ignore it. Look some other direction. But this whole issue of like trying to shut down, I find that really despicable. Because like, for instance, if you are saying something that I really dislike, or if I'm saying something that you really dislike,
Mhm.
well, dude, all you have to do is just turn away. Just turn away and walk on your way about your business and forget about the guy that you don't like. And that's that. I mean, that's all you have to do. And that's what you have to do in a free society. But no, these fuckers have this
And
whole
just
notion
and
of
just to point out, like things that people on the left do on Twitter and these different social media sites. They actually call for the overthrowing of our president. They call for
yeah, yeah,
Trump to be assassinated. They
yes,
call for Rand Paul's neighbor to go beat his ass. When he was put in the hospital with several broken ribs, and I mean that really pisses me off. I'm a big Ron Paul fan. Rand Paul. I mean nobody should have to go under that sort of harassment.
no,
It's insane.
uncalled for.
But yeah, I mean, I grew up on a very libertarian type of mindset, and I still have many libertarian views.
Because you grew up in Alaska, right?
Right? Yeah.
Yeah, because I mean, like Alaska, even the liberals in Alaska are pretty based. I mean,
Yeah.
they all go around with guns. They don't screw around, and so that's a liberalism that I can respect. Because going back a little bit to the whole blood sport thing, that one of the things I found really surprising was that a lot of people were not very good at debating, and it
Yeah.
was kind of funny to watch, for instance, Sargon get his ass handed to him like more than once. It was
Yeah.
fucking funny, and yeah, like going away with his tail between his legs, it was just sort of
Yeah.
funny. It was
Well,
a lot
I
funny.
think Sargon is a incredibly smart dude. I actually think he can be sort of funny too. The main problem with him is that he's got this enormous ego, and he cannot embrace any sort of humility or like just be real with people, and that's a big problem. The blood sports will expose fake people.
Yeah,
It's so funny to see how things play out, how you just ask people questions and they think they're being all sly and their real intentions come out. It just that's what happens during these blood sports versus like a normal interview or something. We really put put a pressure on the guests and make sure they're clear about things. And if you're completely honest, you're going to do fine. You're going to do fine in blood sports. I mean, it's about being genuine. It's about being honest, about saying what your real positions are. Don't come on here and try to lie or like make something up because it's going to get found out.
yeah, and also Tonka was the one who's pointed out that they've actually been having trouble booking people for the morning kumite because what happens in the blood sports is that somebody's going to be right and somebody's wrong, and so before you step into the ring, you better know which is which. And the people who realize that they're going to lose out, they decide to not go on the stream. Now, I have to say that I'll be perfectly frank because the people listening to here are mostly my audience, and I did like a bunch of different streams, and because for various reasons I moved from London, and I'm now in Ukraine, and I haven't had the time to do my more produced videos, and also because I was packing up my studio and my gear and all that shit. It just wasn't practical to do a fully produced video like the videos I normally did. So I decided to fill up the content by doing streams. And that was a mistake because I found myself sort of like trying to copy a little bit of the internet blood sports and having more aggressive debating style. And like yesterday, was it yesterday or a couple of days ago? I think it was yesterday that I did this stream with this communist who didn't know what the fuck he was talking about insofar as Chile is concerned. And I have to tell you, like, yeah, I own the son of a bitch. He didn't know shit about what he was talking about. But I personally felt miserable. Okay. Now you as a moderator, you're the referee. Okay.
Yeah.
So it doesn't affect you. But I have to say that in my own case, I didn't care for it, to tell you the truth. Because see, in this specific case, when I was arguing with this guy yesterday, yeah, sure, I beat him, but I felt wretched, quite frankly. And there's Dale
It's
Carnegie.
not for everybody.
Yeah,
Not
because
for everybody.
there's this Dale Carnegie, who wrote that famous book, How to Win Friends and Influence People, said something really wise. He said, if you get in an argument and you lose it, well, you lose it. But if you win it, you also lose it. And that I thought was surprisingly profound, because I didn't feel like a winner, showing off that this guy was a complete fool. And I have to say that that's part of the reason that I've been taking down some of the streams, because I don't feel that, insofar as my channel is concerned, I don't think that they're up to snuff on the one hand, and in terms of quality standards. I mean, like what we're having now here, this conversation, this is an easygoing conversation. So of course I'm keeping it up.
Yeah.
But some of the streams I did that were more argumentative and trying to like win, trying to be like internet blood sport, I realized it's just not my style. And I felt wretched. And I felt, yeah.
I felt wretched. Well, we all have our own styles, man. It's not for everybody. I understand that.
No, yeah. And the thing is, see, my concern insofar as the internet blood sports is that the people start arguing about smaller and smaller trivia. That they start arguing about shit.
Oh, basically, you can win a debate and not feel shitty. I mean, it sounds like you're a really nice guy, which is, cool.
I don't know. Maybe people think I'm an asshole. So
maybe other people don't have as much of a conscience as you have. But, I think there's an example, like, I think Spencer has debated several people on my channel, and he's treated them with respect, and he hasn't, like, screamed or yelled any obscenities at them. And like, I feel like he's won many times, and it's like it's a graceful win. And then I as a moderator make sure to make both people feel good and say, okay, you guys both had a good showing here. And so I think it's all about how you go about it. But these conversations need to be had. I mean, if you're not going to have them, then that's fine. But they need to be had. Like, this is something that needs to happen. And that's why you asked earlier, why are so many people coming and viewing these things? It's because these conversations have, people are being betas. These are alpha male conversations that we need to have them. We need to stop having little Twitter fights and stuff. Let's talk about the real issues. I don't care if it hurts people's feelings. I don't care if people get upset. We have to talk about them. But to your point, yes, they're absolutely, everyone, be yourself, have your own style. Like, if you're not someone that wants to, like, smack someone down, then don't do that. Have your own style, or just don't engage in them at all. You can totally go into blood sports and you can be completely respectful. Like, for instance, the Tariq Nasheed versus Jared Taylor. Both of them, I got to give props to both of them. Both of them were incredibly cool. They were incredibly genuine and polite to each other. There was a couple little jokes, but they were both like laughing, like at the end of it, they were both laughing. And I think if we can achieve that's definitely going to be a fun time.
Yeah, because, like, for instance, tomorrow I will be talking with Christy Winters. I'm really looking forward to it, because I completely disagree with just about everything that she has to say. But the thing is, Christy and I have spoken a couple of times, and she strikes me as a delightful person. So I'm looking forward to it, because I think that in that conversation, there's really going to be a chance to argue about issues, and yet at the same time, have it remain civil, have it and enjoy each other's company, because
right.
Enjoy somebody's company, even if you think that their ideas are foolish, their political ideas are foolish. One doesn't negate the other, And on the other hand, you can have people that you agree with 100% on your political ideas and think he's an asshole. And my thinking is that a lot of the blood sports is sort of like, especially on the morning kumite, especially, but perhaps it's because that's the kind of show it is. It's devolving into these, like, Jerry Springer kind of thing. And that I'm just not that keen on. But arguing with people who are really on the other side of the fence, politically speaking, like Jared Taylor and Tariq Nasheed, now I can get behind that, because that's interesting. And I think that precisely because people are so far apart on the political spectrum, that they will be more polite, and they will be more like civil to one another. That's my thinking, at least. And it's apparently it's been your experience too, because you're saying that the people who are like really radically different in their politics, that they get along and treat each other with more civility.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, not always. In this case, they did, and that's always a fun thing to see. But yeah, it just depends what sort of entertainment you like to watch. I mean, if you can't really knock anybody for if they want to watch a Jerry Springer type thing that has politics in it, why not? I mean, that's getting more. You advocated earlier. You said, oh, Lauren Southern and Brittany Pettibone are bringing in people. They're attractive girls, and they're bringing in people who wouldn't normally watch good political stuff. So I would argue the exact same thing for Bloodsports. I mean, you're bringing in people who maybe wouldn't watch a political debate, but they're watching it because it's like a Jerry Springer entertaining thing. So there's absolutely nothing wrong with that.
No, there's certainly nothing wrong with that.
You sound like you're bugged by it a little bit.
Well, it's that baked.
It's ruffling your feathers a little bit. I can tell.
Yeah. No question. It's a see. Look, I'm an older guy, right? And when I was younger,
bro, why are you triggered by the Bloodsports? Come on, man.
No.
Don't boomer post on me, bro. Come on.
No,
we're having fun. What's wrong with having fun? I mean,
I'm not against it. I'm not against it. I'm not like saying, oh, prohibited. Like, I hear
ban the Bloodsports, Coach Red Pill 2018. Okay. That's a quote.
No.
Get the word out.
If you want to do Bloodsports, fine by me. Who's been like all like? I understand. I don't know this for a fact, but isn't it like Jeff Holiday and Andy Worski have been going at it? Like basically, like Jeff Holiday saying, "Oh, that's so bad" or whatever, and basically because they're envious because of the money that's pouring in insofar as super chats and stuff like that. No, I don't have a problem with people doing Bloodsports if they want to do it. Fine, it's their thing. I'm realizing that it's not for me. And I have to admit, I'm surprised because I thought
the way that I found out about you was from a Bloodsports. I forget which one it was, but you had a really good showing on Worski Live. Do you know what I'm talking about?
I've been on Andy's show a couple of times, and I love Andy. I think that he's great, and JF is superb. And by the way, I think that the combination of those two, they're going to go fucking far because they complement each other so perfectly, and it's so funny because, and I mean this with all respect to both men, whom I appreciate and respect profoundly. But Andy, on the one hand, he comes across as like the stoner dude, and Jean-Francois comes across as this very French intellectual kind of thing, and practically smoking a cigarette while he's talking, and the compliment of the two is just so funny.
Yeah. No, it is. The stream, I agree. I think they're a great duo.